find your path. Be passionate, compassionate, and just do what it is that you know in your heart that you want to do. And as I said, success leaves clues. This wonderful organization is here to lift you up. And don't forget about us, because you might be hiring us down the road. But really, in all sincerity, I lastly say this, as I said before, when fear knocks, let faith answer the door. And God's delays are not his denials.
Any cause. I think especially women, like if you feel like you've been sexually harassed at work or anything like that, you have to understand one thing. You better make sure you're not replaceable. Because your ass, man, the NFL, no, seriously, like if they don't like your cause, you are easily replaced. And that's exactly what you're saying. The football season is going to start in a couple of weeks without Colin Kaepernick. So any person in this room, you have to say when you have something strong you believe in, you're going to have to live with the ramifications.
I think that if right now, if Colin was kneeling for the LGBT rights or trying to march in the Pride Parade, this would look very different. When Bruce Jenner changed his identity very openly, the sports community embraced him. He won an ESPY award. It was a big deal. It was all over TV. He was a champion. He was a hero. And yet we have this guy, Colin, who's expressing himself and expressing things that he's seen happen in the media and play out in the media. How many black men do have to get killed by law enforcement officers before somebody actually gets indicted or convicted, right? And so he expressed his anger surrounding that, but because it was a race-related issue versus a softer issue like LGBTQ and or autism or these other causes that people champion, I think that's why he's being blackballed, because we're not honest in America about the fact that racism is prevalent. People are very racist. It still exists, and it's not going away.
But you never hear from military members. I talk to a lot of my military members, my brothers and sisters that I've been in the service with, some of the people I still keep in touch with. I'm still very active in military affairs right now, and they never say anything about Colin Kaepernick protesting that flag. The problem that we have right now is...
Why don't they ever say it?
Because we fought for that. Because this is what America's about. We're not in another country. Like if you go to North Korea and you do something like that, yeah, you can have your head chopped off. But we live in the United States of America where we have these rights to do what Colin Kaepernick is. And if you stand up for it and you believe in America, you back Colin Kaepernick. You might not actually agree with what he's saying or what he believes in, but you believe in the rights that he has as an American in this country to do that. And so I fought for that, and it's something that I'm very passionate about.
My Twitter feed, I get told all the time, stick to sports by fans. You know, I'm coming here for the sports, not your women's issues and, stuff like that. But I think as the only NFL beat writer that's female for a major paper, I think it's important to use whatever tiny platform I have to, whether it's sometimes it's not even me commenting, sometimes it's me retweeting an article to get other, your other followers thinking, talking. Because your question to Mark was, how do you, are you black, are you a journalist? I mean, I'll be honest, you are a journalist, but I'm black and I'm a woman. And when I'm in a locker room, it doesn't color how I do my job, but it does affect how I do my job because I'm probably more sensitive to players. I think players relate to me differently because of who I am, what I look like, where I'm from, how I speak to them as people, not just these entities under a helmet. So I think now with the age of Trump and, liberals and Democrats and Republicans and this, I think in the NFL circle, I read some of these NBA stories and I'm like, man, I wish I could cover Steve Kerr. I wish I could, interview Pop, because in the NFL, it is a different game. Mm-hmm. And it's the contracts that really, really force a lot of players not to feel comfortable.
I live in a different media world.
Yes.
It's different from newsrooms and, radio rooms or print. I live in the world that the trolls live in. I live in the underworld. Mm-hmm. That's where I build up. That's where I come from. I come from the bottom. And then, I got into these bigger areas. So the example that I always use is I started off as Ghost so I could become James Sam. So I had to do some things at the beginning and to try to legitimize myself. It's true. It's true. So there are still times, even though now a lot of people say, oh, well, Rob, we see you here, we see you at the NBA Finals, we see you at the Super Bowl. You've made it. You're legit. You got truth now. But there's always some ghost still inside of me.
Right.
And it's very important to me not to forget that I do have a voice. So when something like Colin Kaepernick happens, and I just want to point out, in my world, unfortunately, I didn't see it first from Steve Weish. I saw it from Jennifer Lynn Chan online, on Twitter, a picture. And as soon as I see the picture, I know what's going to happen. So to me, my job in these type of situations is to be like Dikembe Mutombo. I have to protect the athlete, or I have to protect the reporter, or I have to protect, our people. That's the way I look at it. I look at it as myself as a protector because I don't have to ask anybody what to do.
Gotcha.
So I don't have to, if Stan comes out with a great monologue, I don't have to sugarcoat the headline. I can say exactly what he said. I can say exactly what Colin Kaepernick said. And if you work at a big company like the ESPN or the NFL network, maybe your colleague says something you don't like. Well, you can't really just go out publicly and say, oh, they suck. What's the matter with them? Why are they acting like this? Why are they saying these things? I don't have those type of problems. If I don't like what a reporter is saying, white, black, or otherwise, I can call them out on that. Mm-hmm. So one of the most important things I tell young people or people that are trying to get into the business is you have to understand the duplicity of what you're doing. There are times where you have to take a step back, but there's also times you got to get down and get grimy, and you got to take Tommy and go do what you got to, do.
Somebody loves that.
So in my world, in that world, it's to me it's very important because sometimes the social media voice is bigger than SportsCenter or the NFL Network. They're the ones that are driving the conversation. So are we going to get down with that? Or, are we just going to sit back and let it happen? So it's more of a protection type of deal. And when you talk about being black and being a journalist, I think, when you're always going to be black. I may not be a journalist at some point. And to me, you can't take advantage of the fact that you've become successful because of all of the people who look like me have made me successful and then bail out on them.
Why are you not calling teams and saying, sign him? I will become a Ravens fan if you sign Colin Kaepernick. There are more people who don't care one way or another than there are people who are passionately against it. And for those who are passionately for Cap getting a job, let your voice be heard and not just in your small circle where you're bitching about it on Facebook. Do something. They are doing it. They're picking up the phone and making the calls and saying, I'm not going to watch this and I'm not going to do that. If you want him to have a job, like I said, you just not turning the TV on and watching something else is not going to have impact.
Association of Black Journalists, or NABJ, brings together the who's who in the media industry for its yearly conference. The conference allows these media specialists to not only hone their crafts with informative sessions, business meetings, but also find jobs if you're in the market. But the biggest thing I've noticed with NABJ, they give back to the students. There are so many up-and-coming young journalists that are just looking for that opportunity, and this is where they can be nurtured, they can be loved on, they can have advocates, mentors that will guide them in the right direction. After attending NABJ for the last couple of years, I've always wondered why some of the members come, why they love it so much. And this year, I decided to ask. Check out the answers and just let me know what you think.
Hi, I'm here at NABJ in New Orleans, and I have been going to NABJ for more than 20 years. And it's part family reunion, it's part professional development, and it's part vacation. I mean, it's so great to just come in the lobby, in the hotel, and immediately see people who are really happy to see you. You haven't seen them in a year, you gotta catch up. What are you doing now? It's just great, and I always leave feeling loved and supported, and like I have a family that I can turn to, which I have in my 20 years, for mentorship, for jobs, for advice, and just to hang out. So I love it.
NABJ means a family of fellow sports journalists, regular journalists who I can come to every year and just build my...
I've been a member of NABJ since 1997, and for me personally, it's meant everything to my career. Besides, improving my craft through tape critiques when I was young, to finding mentors to help me along the way, as well as connections to help me getting future jobs. It's the main reason I am where I am today. And I think for anyone who's aspiring in this particular career, especially a person of color, it is invaluable to be a member, an active member, and always attend the convention each and every year, no matter where it is, because it will be one of the most important things you do for your career throughout how long of a year you do it.
NABJ, first of all, it's a big family. It feels like a college homecoming. It feels like a reunion every year when I come. When I was a young journalist, I would always come to the convention, and I always used it as a marker for where I was in my career. And as the years went on, I would take this time to assess where I am, where I want to be, and set my goals for the coming year. And so this was always the point of the year where I measured where I was in terms of my career success, my career progress. And the energy and enthusiasm that I took back with me to work from NABJ always got me off to a good start in accomplishing my goals for the next year. And so this has always been a big part of my year. It's been a big event for me every year because of just this feeling of inspiration, the camaraderie with colleagues, old friends. I mean, there are people who I've grown up with in the business over the last 20 years of coming to NABJ, and it's great seeing them every year, sharing their successes, hearing their stories, helping each other when we hit pitfalls in our careers. We're trying to navigate the vagaries of the business. I mean, NABJ is a tremendous resource for all of that, and it's on my calendar. It's in my contract at ESPN that I get to come to NABJ every year. That's how serious it is for me.
Hi, I'm Bob Butler, former NABJ president and a reporter at KCBS Radio San Francisco. I came to my first NABJ in 2000 and walked in and looked around and I'll be back. Been back every year since. NABJ means so much. It's a place to come for the family reunion. It's a place to come to learn new skills. It's a place to come to decompress from the pressures you feel every day. It's home.
To me, NABJ means family. It's a reunion every year. Established journalists growing the next generation. And that's the part that I really like, the growing the next generation. Critiquing tapes, giving honest and sometimes harsh reviews because we need to hear that. But in this environment, we can say those things with love. And I like to see the improvement year to year. I like it when I read that such and such has gotten the job. I like it when I read that such and such has gotten promoted at their job. That's why we're here, to grow the next generation and to have a little fun while we do it. So NABJ means family to me. It means a lot of love. It means a lot of professionalism, a lot of hard work, a lot of time.
What NABJ means to me is community, it's family, it's networking, which I always tell kids is the most important part of the aspect of their beginning of their career. Is not necessarily what you know, but who you know. So you come out here, you fellowship with your fellow journalists, you learn from them, you grow with them, you keep in contact with them, and then you hope that you can continue to live through them and live by them throughout your entire career. So you can reach back and look forward to talking to them through different parts of your career so that they can help you out and you can help them out. Over the years, I've been doing this for 23 years now. Yeah, man, I'm getting old. So 23 years now, and when I first started off, I was looking for jobs, and now I'm in a position where I can actually help other people try and find jobs themselves. So even though a lot of people come to NABJ so that they can come and get some help for themselves, I think it's also, once you get to the point where you can help others, it's giving back.
Hi, my name is Stacy Fernandez, and to me, NABJ and this convention means being able to see other women who look like me in this industry.
My name is MJ Butler. I'm going to be a junior at Northwestern, and this is my first year at the NABJ conference. Convention, but after being here, it became quite obvious why NABJ exists. And NABJ exists, it's a beautiful thing, don't get me wrong, but NABJ exists because when you are not white, Christian, and male, you continuously get stepped on. And NABJ exists because people who look like me and people who maybe don't identify with the same heterosexual identification as mine continue to get stepped on and put in these boxes where the people who do have power get to just push them in any kind of way they want. And it leaves us with scraps to fend for ourselves and with nothing. And the reason why NABJ exists is so that we can have a fighting chance to not necessarily take over. We're not trying to take over, we're just trying to exist.
Nia Jones, I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I am a student right now at Cal State Northridge. And my experiences at NABJ, this is my very first one. I absolutely love it. I feel like it's really a place that not only where you can get a job, but an opportunity. I feel like there's so many people that are here to help other young black journalists and people that even are established that, you know, may need an extra step or need an extra assistance or anything like that. I feel like everybody's just here to help and get everybody to the next level because I feel it's such a small community that helping each other is so vital for all of us to succeed at the end of the day.
Without a doubt, NABJ is the most important conference for black journalists. It's very hard in this business. But that doesn't stop us. We've been through more, we've been through worse. This conference gives you a chance to meet everybody, learn from the stories, learn what not to do and what to do. I think everybody should come at least once, and I guarantee you will never miss another one. Thank you.
NABJ means so much to not just myself, but so many journalists of color. It gives us a chance to come to a different city and network and fellowship and just enjoy each other's company. Salute each other's work, all that stuff. NABJ has helped me tremendously in my career. I can honestly say that without NABJ, I don't know where my career would be. And I'm always grateful to NABJ and everything it provides, from the workshops to the plenaries to everything that comes with an NABJ convention. So I will always be grateful to NABJ, and I would encourage anyone that has never been to an NABJ to start going. You will never stop.
What's going on, Kelvin Washington, Marcellus and Kelvin, ESPN LA. Make sure you check that out. Check out the podcast on the ESPN app. That's neither here nor there. NABJ, man, first off, it's a family reunion. So it's always great to come back and see friends and family you haven't seen in at least a year and come and celebrate their successes and be there for each other and uplift each other. So from that aspect, it's very important to me to be here every year, and also for me to mentor. I love mentoring a lot of these young journalists and broadcasters coming up. That's probably my favorite thing, is coming to have an opportunity to uplift them and continue to root them on. So it's important, and if you've never been, I suggest that you do. If you can get a chance to come on out, please, it'll be worth your while. Continue to support what it's about and continue to hire. We need more jobs out here for African Americans, so if you're in a power position to hire people, please do so. Check it out next year. We're going to be in the D too, by the way. You see the big D right there? Come on through.
NABJ means no voice. And if you leave with a voice, that means you didn't have any fun in the whole thing. It's such a great place to come and network, be amongst the greatest in the business, get your items and everything critiqued, and leave with some new friends, be with your old friends. It's a big black family reunion of good journalists. Just come every year. but keep your voice as good as your mine. Mine is horrible.
For me, NABJ just means being around a powerhouse of journalists, having that support system, something to grow from. A good time, as Miguel said, it's literally a family reunion. You do lose your voice, as you see mine is gone too, but it really just means that you're among the best of the best, and you're around people who want to help you, and we really are setting the pavement and the way for the next journalists of color, black and brown people, to be the greatest people in America, tell stories.
I like that. As a young broadcaster, a female and minority, NABJ to me is empowering. It's an opportunity to get out, have conversations with people that are dealing with the same struggles that you're dealing with, that have made it to the points that you're trying to get to. It's encouraging, it's also a great networking opportunity, and a chance to learn and have fun while you're doing it.
Listen, people, listen, if you don't go to Detroit, that's your fault, Spike Lee. Make sure you're there.